Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Zach, and in an effort to revive this channel and just get some content out there, instead of making a long, elaborate video with review with tons of effects and After Effects and all the extra stuff, I'm going to do quick and dirty talk to the camera about something I just read that I want to talk about, and that is a quick review of the manga Land of the Lustrous. So I just finished the manga last week, and I really want to talk about it, so that's why I'm making this video, just talking to the camera. First of all, first impressions, what I really liked was the art style. This isn't your typical shonen style that you find in Weekly Shonen Jump. It doesn't have that crisp, clean, muscly superheroes. The characters have the very long, kind of elongated limbs, a very shoujo style. Obviously, of course, because of the author, she's great, and I really enjoyed the difference in style from what I would normally read on a weekly basis, like of course One Piece or My Hero Academia. So this was a refreshing change of pace. And if you've seen this channel, kind of what I really am drawn to is more that seinen style. Things like stereotypically Berserk or Tokyo Ghoul. I would definitely say Land of the Lustrous kind of fits that mold. So if you like a more seinen style manga, like a Berserk, or I think this is compared a lot to Oyasumi Punpun, this definitely sort of has more adult themes, but it's presented in not really an adult manner, in the sense that there's no graphic violence or blood in this sense a lot of the times. Just for if you don't know anything about the manga, it's about crystals. So all the characters are these androgynous gems. They're all theys, which is interesting because they're, again, gems. They have no gender. And so, but in talking about violence, there is a decent amount of violence. And that's, I'll talk to you in a second of why I liked it. But yeah, it's just the difference that it's really different from anything you'd find in the big magazines like Weekly Shonen Jump. It's got that more seinen style to the content, and it deals with a lot of mature themes. So on to the second point, what I kind of really thought was interesting and what kind of kept me reading was some of those themes, like the body horror and the violence, for something that has a very artsy style, like super artsy, I would say. A lot of use of blank space, which reminds me a lot of Bleach, at least in the later chapters, or again, not sure if it's just being lazy and drawing the backgrounds or using that negative space. But here in Land of the Lustrous is definitely intentional. Each frame, each panel has a really distinct art style, and it really makes you take in just the vastness of the world. One of the main themes of it is this empty world that could be Earth. We think it's Earth, but we're not sure it's Earth. Which obviously later it sort of becomes clear what's going on as we get towards the end, without being too spoilery. But yeah, the wide open spaces and the use of negative space in the designs of the buildings, and just showing the backgrounds as they battle the Lunarians, it really just has a really big impact on the theme, and a really cool aspect, which I'll see here and add some frames from the manga. So on that note of themes, one of the themes that I found interesting, of course, as a Westerner American reading this, was the use of the Buddhist imagery. Of course, at the very beginning, we're introduced to one of our main characters, Kongo, who's dressed as a Buddhist monk. Again, it's part of the fun of Land of the Lustrous is figuring out this mystery. We're presented with a lot of elements, such as the gems, which may be hard to keep up at times because they're all named after real-life gems and sort of take on those properties, because there's a hardness factor, like the diamonds are more strong in combat, like a diamond would be. But our main character, Phospholite, she's a more brittle gem, and that, of course, plays into things later as how easy she gets broken. But yeah, on to the point about Kongo. Our main character, one of them, besides the gems, is Kongo, who is dressed as this Buddhist monk, or this being, of course, Japanese manga, might be a Shinto priest, but of course, I'm double saying myself, but yeah, it's the Buddhist themes of reincarnation and sort of those things, which I wasn't sure 100%, so I did, look up and read the translator's notes in the Kodansha version of this, the digital version. But yeah, I really enjoyed some of this extra, aspect of this that definitely got me out of my comfort zone and added an extra element as we were discovering the mystery of what's going on with the gems, with the Lustrous. Just to also, of course, talk about some of the negatives One things, as much as I enjoyed finding out the mystery and sort of being introduced to this whole world, there's a little bit of pacing issues I felt towards the middle. Whereas we're kind of in this loop, we're not necessarily a battle of the week, but the Lustrous face a threat. They deal with the threat, something bad happens, and we repeat. And this happens for a couple chapters. It doesn't get stuck for endless like Bleach levels of hundreds of chapters. These mini sort of arcs do resolve themselves, and we do eventually move on to kind of seeing more about the Lunarians and digging into that mystery. But I felt there was a little bit, kind of those character development phases where we're dealing with the Lunarians and we're seeing more of kind of the behind the scenes, but not advancing the overall plot. So that was one of the things that would kind of knock it down just a hair for me for being a masterpiece. I just felt it did drag a little bit in the middle. But overall, if I had to assign a rating, like a scale out of 10, I'd probably give this an 8 out of 10. It definitely ranks up there as a really great read. Maybe not the best, but again, if you're into that seinen, slightly more adult themes with, I've seen a lot of reviews of body horror. So these gems that they fight and they break because they're gems, but they get patched up and again, and this plays into a little bit of the Buddhist themes, whereas our main character sort of, without being too spoilery, takes on aspects of different gems as they patch her up, and she experiences different things, or I shouldn't say they experience different things. Again, these are genderless gems. They're just usually a little more feminine, but they are sometimes used, I think, male pronouns. But again, with the translation, a little hard to translate that directly into English. Overall, love the series. Recommend it. Wouldn't say highly recommend. It's not up there with Bleach levels or Berserk levels as like all-time favorites. Tons of action. Even though I say I do love Bleach, it does have pacing issues as well. But it's if you like Inu Asano, if you like Punpun, if you like 20th Century Boys, those more seinen themes with a slight edge, I would recommend you check out Land of the Lustrous. It's available digitally by Kodansha. That's how I read it. I believe there are physical volumes coming. The final chapters you may have to find fan translated, but it does end around chapter 95, so not a huge commitment. So give it a shot if you're looking for something to read. I kind of breezed through it in about a week of just here and there every night after work reading. Land of the Lustrous, check it out, 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and I hope you come back for a longer explainer video or just one of these quick takes on the manga of the week that I've been reading. So long, have a great one.